Okay, so we are kicking off our live coverage of the CFP Connections Conference in the Windy City, Chicago, and starting off with an old friend and one of my favorite guests, Dr. Preston Cherry.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Chuck.
Thanks for joining us, Preston. And of course, I should mention a couple of things. You are the founder of Concurrent Wealth and also author of, what is the name of the book?
Wealth in the Key of Life, named after songs in the Key of Life. Stevie Wonder.
I love that. I love that. All right, so we're going to talk about a bunch of stuff here.
Yes.
And we haven't spoken in a while, so we got a lot to catch up on.
Sure.
But I got to start with the book. So what's in the book, and tell us about it.
Well, it's helping people with the permission to prosper. So I tell people it's a book of permissions. Too often we're labeled with where we should be in life. And we're actually where we're supposed to be in life. People have different life phases that they go through, and we don't want to be should on all the time. So we're building relationships with money, because life and money has, if you align life and money, it's all about alignment. Life and money alignment gives money assignments. And so people have stories, and stories are in your financial statements. And if you get all the time, right? And so it tells us where we have been, where we are, and where we're going. And if you give your life and money alignment, then you can give your life assignments and give those financial strategies somewhere to go and build a proper plan.
I love that. And behavioral finance, BFI, that's becoming much more popular, and I think for really good reason. And it seems to be, luckily, advisors are moving away from, I'm going to pick stocks and pick mutual funds, to planning, and that's great. And now there's a further evolution, it seems to me, from planning to behavioral finance coaching. Is that a pretty accurate assessment?
Well, it's and, not or.
Right.
Yeah, you have to have both.
Yeah.
And so many people say, well, Dr. Cherry, well, you got me doing all this soft stuff, all the people stuff. When are you going to tell me the numbers? I said, well, you have to have the stories in order to get to the numbers, because you have to have the stick-to-itiveness. If you don't have your stories embedded in the numbers, then the numbers won't make sense, you won't stick to them, and you won't have that compounding effect. And when people have the moment, right? The aha, it's kind of like opening up a can of soda, right? And when you have that moment, they're like, okay, now I know what to do with a backdoor Roth. I know what to do with a trust. I know what to do with my investment portfolio. Right? Because they have that stick-to-itiveness, they have that understanding, Chuck. And they're like, okay, now my plan has, I say, the eat your peas. It has the purpose. It has the life phases in them, right? It has my preferences in them. And when you have all those three aspects in them, my preferences, all those things go into your plan. Now it says, okay, I have my moment, now I can prosper the way my family wants to.
I love that. Can you share an anecdote perhaps on how either another advisor you've helped coach with this, or clients that you've helped coach with this concept, and what were some of the outcomes of that?
Well, the understanding, the willingness to understand. When I share this with advisors, they say, well, I've never done that before. And when they do this, they say, you know what, my clients have said this. They were waiting to be asked that. And when they do that, now they have better advocacy. Advocacy is better than satisfaction. When you go to, say, McDonald's and you're real hungry and you've been on the road and you say, I'm real hungry right now, you go get that fry, right? And that fry, it satisfies your hunger. But you wouldn't advocate for Mickey D's all that much, right?
Not all that much.
Right.
Hey,
It's fine, though. It's fine to get
what did they say? Everything in moderation, including
hot fries.
Moderation.
And everybody has some hot fries,
Yes.
For sure. You gotta have those hot fries. But you don't go advocate for Mickey D's. Like, go to Mickey D's and get them fries 20 times a year. You do advocate for a good steak experience. When you go in there, you get the good linens, you get the good service, and you say, go down to that steak restaurant. They're going to call you ma'am, they're going to call you sir, right? They're going to get you that service, right? Now, going back to how this helps advisors and what advisors tell me, it's like, I have good advocacy because the clients say, such and such they asked me about my story because they've been waiting to be asked, and they had that experience, and they said, you know what, my advisor asked me something that I've been waiting to be asked. Now I advocate for you. And the advisor said, you know what, they shared that with me. And that's the difference.
I love that, and I think it's so important, especially now with next-gen clients in particular. You have to incorporate the entire person. It can't just be the numbers. There's got to be some reasoning for getting into those numbers and some purpose. And I love what you said before, and I want to get this right, giving them permissions.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes, permissions to live their wealth their way.
Yeah,
And
I like
and
that.
success and wealth is going to mean different to different people.
Yeah.
You know, like my dad, like my mom and dad say this all the time. They were like, listen, you know, if somebody had our version of wealth, they jump off a bridge.
Right. Right.
Because to them, they're fine. They got to pay for a house, pay for a car, right? They got a little bit of a pension, you know, and they're not wealthy in the sense of what people think of as wealth, you know. But their dollars of wealth make sense to them, and it funds their well-being. That's why I like to say financial harmony is wealth-secured well-being, living your wealth your way. All right. So you use your dollars to fund the well-being, your preference, your purpose, your life phase, right? And those areas that you define, and you use your dollars to fund that way, living your wealth your way. So that's what the permission means. Live your wealth your way, the way your well-being life dimensions define you. And that's the book of permissions. And don't push back on the justifications, push back on the explanations, push back on the guilt, right?
Yes.
Internal and external. And that will give the stick-to-itiveness to a financial plan.
All right, I tell you what, that's a great place to put a pin in it for today. Dr. Preston Cherry, my good friend, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Chuck.
Okay, so this is just kicking off our 2 days of live coverage here in Chicago for the CFP Connections Conference. I'll be back in another 45 minutes with some more content and our next guest. Thanks for joining us, and Preston, thanks again.
Thanks, Chuck.